I remember exactly when the humiliation began. The studio lights burned harsh and white above me. The mixing room's air felt thin, sharp-edged with anticipation. I hunched at my workstation, hands tense on the controls, double-checking the sound layers for a late-night cartoon episode. Spark Studios was known for slick edits, dense sonic detail, and rows of trophies in the front hall. Here, quality was the gospel. I was only 3 months in as an assistant sound designer, but I felt like I was always under a magnifying glass. Marla Krasik, my boss, had a voice like cracking ice and the quiet, predatory walk of a cat. She barged in, the door sliding open, ignoring all calls for privacy. "Sam, play it again," she barked, clipboard planted against her hip. I hit playback, footsteps, a can scuttling, a mouse squeaking. "That's supposed to be a trash can, not a muffin tin," she snapped. "Do you even know what trash sounds like?" Heat flooded my cheeks. I tried. "I can adjust the—" She cut me off. "No fixing it, not your job, this is amateur." She stabbed a button and piped the sound out into the open office. Heads turned, animators, editors, the entire sound crew. "Ladies and gentlemen," she called, "listen to what happens when someone thinks making noise is a profession." Snickers drifted over, Jordan from Foley arched an eyebrow smirking. Amy, the sound editor I'd thought might become a friend, glanced away, embarrassed for me. I felt myself getting smaller in the chair as everyone's laughter crystallized around me. Marla shook her head, as if pitying me. "Bring in real sounds by tomorrow, Sam. If you can't, don't come back." She vanished, clipboard clapping at her thigh, leaving me in the monitor's pale glow. I wanted to disappear. As the office returned to their own business, I gathered my headphones and slipped out, burned by quiet giggles and Amy's averted eyes. I drifted home in a daze, trudging past LA's plastic palaces and dusk-colored palm trees. Someone's garage band rattled the window glass in my apartment. I shut the door and slumped, shame deadening my limbs. The laughter wouldn't leave my brain, but it wasn't the first time I'd heard it. Back home in Iowa, my family always acted like sound design was a party trick, not work. My brother Jake, dependable and golden, now ran the family auto shop. My mom never stopped teasing me about the cartoon burps I made for TV. Thanksgiving 2 years ago, I tried explaining how to layer thunder. Jake snorted, "You gonna sell bottled wind next, Sam? Or just clown noises?" Everyone burst out laughing. I left early, the joke of the table. Even after landing the LA job, the calls from home were all the same, disbelief or something close to disapproval. Audio work, to them, meant less than any other career they knew. They didn't care about my all-nighters or the little awards my name sometimes ended up next to. My wins never meant anything once I dialed long distance. So here I was, bottomed out after getting ripped apart in public. I lay on my mattress that night, jittery and hollow, Marla's words echoing around, too loud to sleep. I gave up on rest. Instead, I prowled through Koreatown's side alleys with my handheld recorder, capturing real metal trash can lid squeals, street noise, bar bustle. Strangers shot me weird looks as I hovered around dumpsters and subway stairs. Back home at dawn, bleary-eyed, I mixed the new samples, tried to build a gritty, real trash can symphony. Marla played it, face unreadable. She didn't look at me, she just muttered, "Fine, that will do. Next time, don't waste my time." Cold indifference was the best I got, but something in me cracked that morning, a belief that I'd ever belong in this place. Maybe. The weeks became a grind. There were always new rumors, someone landing a blockbuster gig, another jumping ship for Netflix. I kept my head down, picked up the grunt work, late-night ADR sessions, unseen Foley, footsteps and doors, never the hero's sword swing or the big car crash. Jokes dogged me everywhere I went. When I asked questions or hung around after closing, people looked past me as though I was invisible. But every night I kept recording, editing, building stories from bits and pieces. There was an alley behind my apartment, full of scraping dumpsters and yowling cats, and sometimes at dawn a hush deep enough to imagine a whole world. I made sound stories, cut demo reels, and sent them to any indie film that would listen, usually to be turned down. I ran on stubbornness, maybe pride, sometimes just pain. I called home every so often, but Mom always asked, "Are you done with city nonsense yet?" Sometimes I just let the silence answer. Time crawled past. Marla moved up out of my orbit. I became a fixture doing whatever nobody else wanted. Amy left for New York. Jordan found work at a gaming company. Others came and went, but no one seemed to see me as more than background. One Tuesday, my boss told me to clear out the old Foley pit in the basement, just piles of shoe molds and boxes of fake fruit. That night, back at my apartment, I actually thought about quitting. Maybe enough was enough. Maybe everyone was right and I was just a joke, but every time I started unplugging my home studio, something buzzed inside me, an itch I couldn't scratch. I couldn't just walk away, not yet. At 3 a.m., half asleep, I stumbled onto an online posting, experimental short film looking for narrative sound design. No pay, no promises, just festival credits maybe. I sent some of my city soundscapes. I forced myself not to care. A week passed. Then the director, I remember her name, Ria, called me out of breath, firing off ideas. I want sound like no one's made before, you game. Before I knew what I was doing, I said yes. The months that followed were a mess, breaking mics, borrowing recorders, sneaking into clubs for ambient noise. Ria bombarded me with voice notes at 2 a.m. I barely slept, editing city tone poems in my tiny apartment. But for the first time I felt electrified, sharp, as if something in me had finally caught fire. The film was called Midnight Corridors*. It screened once in a Silver Lake basement. 12 people watched, but one turned out to be a festival scout. Not long after, Ria called again. Sam, you're shortlisted, they want you to meet someone. I quit Spark Studios before anyone could try to talk me down. Marla didn't even look up. Go ahead, kid, nobody cares about Foley folks, she muttered. But stepping out into daylight, the city suddenly felt like it had space for me. Recognition started arriving quietly, blog posts, little festival mentions, sound design pulses with life, nothing big but it was mine. I worked on shorts, experimental films, art installations, honest, tough work. New collaborations arrived, often strange but real. Then Midnight Corridors won a jury prize for its soundscape. Ria called, crying. I sat cross-legged on my floor, clutching the certificate. Not long after, the big break came, designing all the sound for a limited series, a love letter to the city told almost entirely through audio. No big studio, just me, 2 simple mics and months of exploring LA's heartbeat. I spent a year making it, sunrise rooftop recordings, actors performing in traffic, the wind between buildings, laughter from behind glass. The showrunner at the wrap party whispered, we couldn't have done it without you. For once, all the hard nights felt seen. Then the Emmys happened. I didn't fly home, there was little point. The award was nice, but by then the real need was growing, to show my family what I actually did and maybe finally have them see me. News trickled home. Samia from Spark Studios texted, saw you on TV. Cousin Ali messaged, Mom recognized your name, when's your next visit? So I went, rented a car in early spring, watched LA fade into green plains and grey roads. Iowa's sky hung gigantic gold, endless, crowded with wind turbines, turning into my hometown. Something old and lonely squeezed my chest. The first night everything felt like I'd left it, faded paint on the siding, Mom's hair now silver. She fretted over me as if I was still young, then instantly teased, done with Lowe's Angels yet, or are you still out there playing with microphones? I'm working, Mom, films. It sounded weak even to me. She blinked, half impressed but moving on. Dinner, Jake dug in with a grin. Bet those city movies aren't as good as fixing a clutch, huh? He said. I tried to explain my job, but he just rolled his eyes. So you get paid for noise, huh? Nice work if you can get it. Dad just watched, quiet as ever. That week, conversation circled home improvements, Cousin Vicky's new hospital gig, Jake's cars. When I mentioned sound design, how you tell a story without words, just echo and breath, eyes glazed over, I was the kid who'd run away, still chasing fantasy. Ali called one night, want to help check out the new town hall theater. They say the sound system's fancy, we could use an LA Pro. His tone was teasing, but I agreed, just for a change of scenery. The town hall reeked of varnish and popcorn. I ran test tones, nothing too fancy but better than the old speaker stack. What are we showing? I asked Ali. He grinned, devilish. Your LA show, got a copy from someone in the city. Time everyone saw it. I stared at the Blu-ray, realization crashing in. The one with my name, the sound, my heartbreak and hours and stubbornness. The lights dimmed, people quieted. The series started, blue-gray LA sunrise. The sound swelled, distant horns, a dog barking, the city waking up in layers. Dialogue was rare, it was the sound guiding everyone, shifting moods until the first storm sequence thundered around the room. Heads rose. Old ladies in pews leaned in. Jake's face was open-mouthed, astonished by something he had never really believed. My mom sat still, palms tense. The heartbreak sequence, the slamming door, footsteps vanishing, the hollow wind hung over the crowd. No one spoke. The credits rolled, sound design by Sam Hall. A cheer broke loose, startled, then grew into applause. My mom's eyes were wet. Jake pounded my back. "No way, you made all that," he yelled, proud, dazed. Cousins hugged me, laughing. The choir director pulled me aside. "Would you record our Christmas concert, Sam, if you're not too busy for us?" Later, driving home with the window down, the wind in my face, I finally felt the old shame fading. All that hurt, Marla, the mocking, the years of feeling like a joke, had finally dissolved. My work had filled this hall, reached old skeptics and family alike, stitched past and present into something whole. The next morning, my family gathered around, asking all the questions I had wanted to answer years ago: how this worked, what I listened for, what I'd do next. There were still old jokes, a little ribbing, but something had turned. Now curiosity replaced scorn. I sat on the porch with my coffee, listening to the birds, the truck on the highway, the Iowa wind rattling the wires. Where I'd once only heard a place I needed to leave, now I heard the music of home. I knew I'd drive back to LA to new work and old doubts. But in this quiet, for once I belonged. Both son and artist, proof and punchline, changed and unchanged. The world sounded different now. I did too.